The casual dismissal in the officer's voice was a punch before the actual one landed. I don't care who you think you are. You fit the description. Officer Craig Vance held out a hand toward the young woman in the red silk dress, his face a mask of bored entitlement. He saw an easy mark, a black woman he could intimidate to impress his superiors. What he failed to see was the federal judge's robe, draped over the storm he was about to unleash. For years, Vance had been a blight on the Emerald City Police Force, a bully protected by his badge. But he had just laid hands on the one person who could take everything from him. Lena Thorne, the daughter of Judge Elias Thorne. And the judge didn't just practice the law, he defined it. The air at Pioneer International Airport was the familiar antiseptic blend of recycled oxygen and stale coffee, the comforting chaos marking the end of a long flight. Lena Thorne smoothed the front of her vibrant red silk dress, a flash of confidence against the muted airport palette. At 32, she was starting fresh. A new city, a new job as a senior architect. Her life, meticulously constructed, was finally free of her father's long shadow. The dress was a symbol of that new beginning, bold, beautiful, and completely her own. A genuine smile touched her lips as she walked into the bustling arrivals hall, searching for her reserved car service. "Ma'am, I need you to step aside." The voice was a flat, granite block of authority. Lena turned, her smile dissolving into polite confusion. Officer Craig Vance stood before her, a man whose presence seemed to leach the warmth from the terminal. His gaze ran insolently over her body. "We have a report. Vague description of a woman matching your profile, possibly transporting narcotics." The accusation was so preposterous that Lena almost laughed. "Narcotics? Officer, you have the wrong person. I just arrived from out of state. I'm an architect." Vance stepped closer, smelling of stale coffee and arrogance. "Architect? Huh? Doesn't change the fact that you fit the description. Black female, 20s or early 30s, red dress." His lip curled with patent disdain. "That is an incredibly vague description, and you know it. You have no probable cause to detain me." She knew her rights. Her father had ensured it. The mention of probable cause acted like a tripwire. Vance's face hardened. "Oh, now we got a lawyer. Think you're clever." He grabbed her arm, his fingers digging into her skin. "Right here now. Let go of me," she gasped, twisting away. The animal fury that flashed in Vance's eyes was instantaneous. He saw defiance, a challenge to his absolute power. He shoved her hard, the force becoming a slap. His open palm cracked against her cheek with a sickening crunch that echoed in the vaulted hall. Lena staggered, then fell, her red dress billowing around her on the cold, sterile floor. A gasp rippled through the onlookers as mobile phones snapped up to record the aftermath. Vance stood over her, breathing heavily. Hours later, in his soundproof study overlooking the city, Judge Elias Thorne listened to his daughter's tearful, halting account. "Akob, dat. He hit me, threw me to the ground in front of everyone." Thorne's pen clattered onto the mahogany desk. The serene composure of the respected jurist cracked, revealing the cold terror of a father. As he listened to the details, the unfounded accusation, the racist implication, the violent assault, the terror was consumed by a silent, calculating fury. This wasn't just an attack on his daughter. It was an attack on the very principles of law he embodied. "Stay there, Lena. Don't say another word to anyone. I'm sending someone now." He called Ben Shun, his chief private investigator, a former federal agent. "Ben, I need you at the precinct. My daughter, Lena, was assaulted by an officer named Vance. Get her out, get a full statement, and give me everything on Officer Vance and his partner." His final call was to the chief of police, short and brutally direct, demanding the immediate preservation of all surveillance footage from Terminal 4. It was not a request, it was an order. The next day, Ben Shun laid a report on Thorne's desk. Vance was a 38-year-old ticking time bomb. Chronic gambling debts, a mortgage house, and an illegal cash-only side job providing security for high-stakes poker games run by a known local mob figure. A clear ethics and tax violation. And the partner? Thorne asked, his gaze fixed on the files. The partner, Officer Danby, was the lever. Solid cop, 2 kids, but a weakness, an ongoing affair, and a critical vulnerability. 3 years ago, he committed perjury to cover for Vance in the unjust arrest and brutalization of a young man named Omar Jenkins. Danby had lied about Vance smashing Jenkins' head into a patrol car. "The system moves too slowly to contain a cancer this virulent," Thorne murmured. He abandoned the formal legal process. Danby is the key. I want to whisper in Vance's ear, something that tells him the past is awake. The first strike came as a simple, anonymous email to Vance. Remember Omar Jenkins? Attached was the unedited, original version of Danby's sworn statement about the Jenkins case, explicitly contradicting Vance's official report. Vance was instantly isolated by paranoia. The second whisper arrived later that day. A photograph of Vance in civilian clothes, shaking hands with a nightclub owner who ran the illegal poker ring. No note, no threat. The message was clear. I know your secrets. Thorne then met Danby at an anonymous coffee shop. The judge, calm and measured, laid out the truth. Two pictures, one of Danby with his mistress, the other of Lena's bruised face from the airport video. You have two problems, officer. Personal indiscretion and the felony of perjury. Protect Vance, and all of this goes public. You lose your wife, your career, your freedom. Or you choose to be the man you swore to be. Thorne offered him salvation, a full, sworn affidavit detailing Vance's corruption, Peter's case, the financial crimes, everything. And in exchange, the evidence of Danby's affair and perjury would vanish. It wasn't a choice. It was an execution. Danby, staring at the destruction of his meticulously crafted life, crumpled. I'll do it, he whispered. With Danby's full confession in hand, Thorne unleashed his planned assault. He didn't leak the confession immediately. Instead, he used the financial data Danby provided to weaponize the system against Vance. Anonymous, detailed letters were sent to the IRS and the Internal Affairs Division, IAD. The letters itemized Vance's undeclared cash income from illegal security jobs over 3 years, detailing how it subsidized a lifestyle exceeding his police salary. The first blow arrived a week later. 2 IAD detectives showed up at Vance's door. They grilled him about the poker games and the cash deposits. Vance sputtered denials, but his panic was palpable. Before leaving, they delivered the fatal news. You are suspended without pay. Badge and service weapon must be surrendered immediately. The second blow arrived the next day. A certified letter from the IRS informing him that his last 5 years of tax filings were under formal audit. Vance was now bankrupt, stripped of his identity, and facing federal charge. The judge delivered the final strike. The high-resolution video of the assault, which Thorne had withheld from maximum impact, was given exclusively to Sarah Jennings, the city's top investigative reporter. The evening news led with the footage. The nation watched, horrified, as Vance's brutal hubris was aired for millions. The phrase "justice for Lena" became a global trend. The chief of police, his career in flames, was forced to announce a full, transparent, and swift investigation. The media frenzy, fueled by anonymous leaks from Chun about the Jenkins case, reached a fever pitch. The district attorney, drowning in political pressure, finally acted. With Danby's sworn statement in hand, the grand jury quickly returned an indictment. Kevin Miller was arrested for multiple felony counts: aggravated assault, perjury, and civil rights violations under color of law. His booking photo, a portrait of utter collapse, went viral. At the trial, Lena Thorne was the prosecution's first witness, giving clear, unshakable testimony. The video, played on the courtroom's large screens, was irrefutable. Next, a terrified but resolute Danby took the stand, confessing to the Jenkins cover-up and detailing Vance's long history of brutality. Vance was buried under the weight of his own crimes. The jury returned in under 30 minutes, guilty on all counts. 1 week later, at the sentencing hearing, the judge condemned Vance. You used your authority as a weapon. Your actions were an assault not just on one woman, but on the trust that binds our society. The gavel fell, sentencing Craig Vance to 15 years in state prison. That evening, Judge Elias Thorne stood on his balcony, his arm around his daughter. The fury that had consumed him had finally dissipated, replaced by a profound stillness. He had forced the system to work by his design, using his intellect and power to dismantle a man who thought himself above the law. "It's truly over, Dad," Lena whispered. "Yes," he said, pulling her closer. "It's over." He had sought justice, or perhaps executed the perfect revenge. He had restored order to his world, and for a father, there was no greater purpose.